If you've done volunteer work and enjoy organizing events, volunteer manager might be an occupation to consider. Volunteer managers work for organizations, helping them plan volunteer involvement and coordinating volunteer programs. To find out more, we talked with a volunteer manager.
My name is Avnish Mehta, and I'm a volunteer manager here at Calgary Catholic Immigration Society. Hi guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Nice
to see you. Yeah. How are you? My duties and responsibilities as a volunteer manager is all about connecting people. It's about identifying goals, understanding where people want to go, and being able to connect them with the right project and the right people in order to be able to attain those goals. If a volunteer does come in order to say, hey, you know what, I want to volunteer, I'm interested in getting engaged, what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and really get an idea of what they want to do, what they're excited about, what gets them fired up, because we really want to put them into an exciting opportunity. So maybe it's working with kids, or being outdoors, or translating. So for example, in the school program, a lot of the programs that we currently have are run in schools themselves. So if a school contacted us and said, this is our event and this is how we would like you to be involved, we would look at the relationship that we had with that school, be able to understand, what we've done with them in the past and how it's been successful, and then be able to build on that. A lot of the projects that happen and a lot of the bigger events happen with volunteers and require volunteers in order to be successful, and that's a big part of what we do, is ensuring that those events that are being facilitated have enough resources and have enough people behind them in order to be a great event for all the clients involved. So once we've seen kind of the type of project that we want and identified, hey, this is exactly where we want to go, then we look at all the different skill sets that we have in our database of volunteers. We're lucky here, we have up to 1,300 different volunteers that are willing to help us out. So you're trying to say, okay, the goals of the project are this, but then the goals of our volunteers are also, do they match up with our project? And then we all connect them together. Volunteer managers are in all different sectors. So we've seen volunteer managers in private sectors, not-for-profit, and even in government organizations.
Interested in volunteering.
Okay. One of the big things I like to do on a day-to-day basis is check in with some of our volunteers, make sure that the event that they attended or that they were a part of went well, make sure that their goals were attained. But oftentimes we're always looking into the future, kind of what's next, how are we going to develop our next event and improve on what we're doing, and making sure that our volunteers are getting the best of the experience. Okay. So I was hoping we just discuss this labor market.
Yeah. Awesome.
One of the nice things about volunteer managers is that you don't really have a specific set, or you don't not a required background in terms of formal education. A lot of our colleagues have come from very, very different and very, very diverse educational backgrounds, and that's really neat because they're all bringing in a different story when they're coming to the table, and how they manage their volunteers, often based on how their experiences have been in the past. So as a volunteer manager, it's not you don't require a specific skill set, but it's in terms of the skills that you need are very broad. You're required to be able to do a lot of different things because you've got to manage a lot of different personalities and a lot of different people. On a typical day, we're in the office from 8:30 to 4:30, 9 to 5, but depending on the needs. So often we're getting out our cell phone numbers, being able to be accessible at all times. I'm not talking about 24 hours, but at all times of the day, in order for them to be able to say, hey, you know what, I just got your message, I'm looking forward to this opportunity, and being able to connect that. As a volunteer manager, there is quite a bit of work-life balance. You're always out at different events, you're always connecting and seeing different projects. So oftentimes when I'm working, I'm going to really meet different experiences that I would never do regularly, and that really balances out the workday. So on the other side, on the personal side, love to be outdoors, love to be able to go golfing and hiking and play squash and be active. The type of personality that makes a great volunteer manager is somebody who is caring. Somebody who really wants to get the best out of people, and it's amazing how much people are willing to give, and a volunteer manager is really somebody who should be able to understand that and really want to see, okay, I want to help you give as best as you can. If a volunteer manager position is something that is of interest to you, the first thing I'm going to always encourage is volunteer. get involved. Try to connect with as many different organizations as possible. You're probably going to be able to develop some understanding and some better vision of where you want to be. There are a lot of satisfying aspects of my work, and one of the most is just being able to meet the goals of the volunteer and the organization at the same time. So if people are looking to say, this is what I want to do, this is what makes me happy, this is how I want to develop myself, and then also have the organization meet the organizational goals in terms of how they want to run an event or get involved in the community, then that's really one of the most satisfying things. Personally, for me, this is one of the best career choices that I've made. I go home satisfied at the end of the day, knowing that, hey, I'm helping people, I'm helping organizations, and really piecing everything together. It's true satisfaction that I hadn't really felt in a lot of my other jobs, but being able to be the volunteer manager and work with people and help them develop, puts a smile on my face at the end of the day.
To become a volunteer manager, educational requirements vary, but you will typically need 2 to 4 years of post-secondary study, plus some non-credit courses in volunteer management. If the occupation of volunteer manager interests you, there's more information available, including educational requirements and salary ranges, in the occupational profiles on ALICE. You may also be interested in the related occupations of Fund Development Professional, Human Resources Professional, or Special Event Coordinator. Learn more on the ALICE website and make the most of your future. Visit us at alice.alberta.ca.